culture can be seen as a cherry on top of the cake, where it's actually an important ingredient of the cake, an important ingredient of how to scale your business. Why? Because it reflects the way your business makes people feel. Would that be your customers, your employees, your investors, society, or your suppliers? And if you have been in sales, for example, for a while, you may have heard that buy-in is an emotional rather than a rational decision. And there is a quote that you probably already heard about, which is people will forget what you said, people will forget what you did, but they will never forget how you made them feel. And that's the essence of culture, is to define how to make people feel and trigger the buying decision and attractivity of the A players. This is what will build your business. Would that be people buying from you, working for you, or investing in you and your business? If they trust and if they feel aligned with what you offer, they will buy again, they will contribute to the delivery, and they will invest. If not, they don't come back to buy, they disengage from their work, so you will have liability instead of assets, or they won't reinvest because they don't really trust that you will go very far. So in this episode, we were going beyond branding and company slogans to show you why lived values are the secret to long-term success, how your culture shapes your brand and your scaling ability, and how to define and embed the values that will guide your company's success. Hello, this is Leila. Welcome back to my channel. This episode is part of a series that is based on my book, $1 Billion Purpose, that you will find in the description of this episode. And in this series, I help you scale your business without burning out by attracting, developing high-performing teams so it doesn't only rely on you and that you build legacy that lives beyond you. So, what is the actual problem that we're talking about here? Too many founders, they hear the word like working on values, sharing them is important. Some of them think that values are something that you will write on your website, something that you aspire to, right? And they stop there. And then they say, why this is not working, okay? So for them, it was supposed to bring business. This is what they have been told to do. They have done it. So now why it's not working? And the actual reason behind why it's not working is that the values are not what you say. So you can write them on the wall, you can write them on the deck. It's not what you say. They're what your team, your clients, and what your partners feel. Getting back to this feeling part, right? It's what they feel in every interaction with you. It's what they feel in the interaction with your team, with your business, with your product, with your services. So, do your people feel trusted? Do your customers feel valued, respected? Do your partners feel aligned? If not, then your culture isn't working no matter what your posters say. So, it means moving from written values to lived values. And we will see now why lived values paid off using data. Okay, so the data is really clear. Companies with strong cultures, not just on the wall, but lived cultures, they grow 4 times faster than the other companies. They are engaged teams, they lead to higher profitability and to lower churn. And their values-based recognitions reduce turnover by 31%. And we know that when we lose a talent and a player, then the cost of that is 2 annual salary. It's a lot. This is about profit through purpose. This is why my book is called $1 Billion Purpose. When people resonate with how you operate, they stay and they help you win. And I want to share with you a story, something that really annoyed me when I was interacting with a brand. And it was many years ago. I just graduated at that point from university. And I wanted to buy myself something just to celebrate that, right? So I walked into a luxury store in Paris and 2 salespeople exchanged glances. Like, she doesn't feel talking about me, right? Doesn't feel like someone who can buy from here anyway, so why bother? And one of them said out loud, I choose my customers. I never forget this. It wasn't about the product. It was about the values expressed in that moment. And it was expressed with the people that were working on the store, right? It was not the founder. It was people working on a store. This is what we call lived values. So how you make people feel at all levels of your organization is your brand. And if your salespeople make your potential client feel not welcomed, they are damaging your brand without you even realizing it. And each interaction, would that be internal or external, is a chance to live your values or betray them. So where should we start all that? I will show you two perspectives, the inside out and the outside in. Let's start with the inside out, starting with the founder. In the early days of your business, your culture is you. You hire based on your gut, you attract people who just get it. But as you scale, your instinct isn't enough. And it starts being important to make the implicit explicit. You need clarity. That's why founders must get intentional about their values before they scale. And when your values are clear, like this is exactly how you live, this is exactly what you want your brand to represent, and you say it, you live it, you recruit people who also embody this, then your team can make aligned decisions with you, right? Because it's explicit, they get it. Your brand becomes magnetic because it's not fluffy. It's really clear what you stand for. And your company scales without losing its soul. Because when you start scaling, it can be tempted to use the strategies of someone else who succeeded in another business. And you see that this person is really successful their way, etc. But it's successful with their culture, with their product, So if you don't stay grounded with your own culture and evaluate if this strategy fits your culture, then you may get pulled in all different places. You may accelerate your growth for a while because you're trying strategies that are working, but then at some point it will feel completely disconnected. And this is what we call like scaling, losing your soul. So if at some point you look at your business and say, is it my business? Is it this that I was starting at the beginning? This is a risk. And this is why culture, working on your culture and your values, helps you reduce this risk by staying grounded in your business and why you've started it in the first place. So how to uncover your core values from the inside out. You start from your own values. How to put words on what you deeply care about and want to find a blueprint in your business. I will share with you how I went through this process myself. If you would ask me, what are your values? I would have probably hesitated or provided a vague answer like, oh, let's get through this. But this exercise that I'm about to share with you has really helped me. I remember I had a mentor, a coach once asked me, what are the words you find yourself repeating again and again? It's not what are your values. What are the words you find yourself repeating again and again? And now with AI, with everything, you can even record your meetings, right? And then ask AI, say, what are the words that I have been saying again and again? This is one of the tools. I have so many other tools, but this is one tool that I'm sharing with you that is practical. So that simple question helped me tap into what I had unconsciously been guided by for years. So based on that, I've created what I call the Founder's Core Value Mapping tool, and it helps you name what already drives you so you can scale it consciously across your team. Now, let's flip the coin and let's look at it from the outside in. And yes, if you want the tool, it's in the description. So from the outside in, getting feedback from your people. If we flip it, once you've defined your values and you're clear about them, it's time to check if your people feel them. You can ask, what do you believe we truly stand for? What values do you experience in this company? Where do our actions not match our claims? And the gap between stated values and lived values is where most cultures break. So when you close the gap, so this is what you said, this is what I believe in, but this is what happened in the ground. When you close that gap, your brand becomes unstoppable. And I want to share with you other examples, one from my father and one from Salesforce. But my father, I once asked him, like, why he stayed in the same company for 45 years. And he said, respect, collective responsibility, and care. It was written nowhere, but everyone within the company lived that because it was embodied. And that's what made people stay and made the company thrive. If we look at Salesforce, which is a bigger company, multi-billion dollar company, and it's one of the most successful software as a service company, their values, trust, equality, customer success are everywhere in the way they hire, in their leadership, in their decisions. That's how you can scale a business, but more than that, a movement. And they talk about aloha. So it's their own culture. Doesn't mean like now let's go all have the same culture as Salesforce. This will not work. If it's not coming from you, it's not authentic. If it's not what you live by, this would not work. So stop copying the cultures of the others and go inside. Yes. So in the description of this episode, you will have access to the book if you want to purchase it. And you can have also access to the founder's core values mapping tool. If you want to do this exercise. And once your values are clear, you can start attracting and onboarding talents who strengthen and not dilute your culture. So in the next episode, we'll talk about hiring for mission fits and how to onboard people who scale your culture instead of fracturing it. Thank you for listening. Feel free to subscribe to have access to all the videos or to come back to this later, and I'll see you there.